man, I like that. I like that a lot. A whole lot.
Huh.
Your your thoughts?
Uh, I mean, I don't want to be Mr. Sour Grape, Steve,
No, of course
but
not.
I mean,
You're,
that's
you're
not my bag. I
no.
really don't like to
I
play that
mean,
card.
boy, really,
But
I like what you did with the intro this week. Now, typically,
huh,
you put the intro together. I didn't know you could sing like that. You're a
yeah.
songbird.
I mean, for the better part of 270 or so episodes, I have indeed put the introduction together, Steve.
Yeah. So
So
I congratulate you
where's
on
the
your latest work. It sounded a little different than yeah. I feel like you've been hiding a talent, and uh,
where's
and you finally just let it go.
where's the one I sent you, Steve?
Was that not it? Did I play the wrong one? Did I hit the did I
I
hit
mean,
the wrong
listen,
button?
I am all for listener contributions, all for it. But now you're sneaking into my work there, Tony, with the fancy hat. All right, so know your lane. You're one step away from getting the Dan Shike the Music Man treatment, and
Oh
nobody wants
boy.
that.
Oh boy.
Nobody wants that,
You hear that, Tony? Fighting words right there.
man.
I
So,
thought it was great. Personally, I was
oh yeah, I mean, sure, it's I appreciate the interaction there. Speaking of interaction, Steve. Well,
Mhm.
sorry, I feel like I'm getting too ahead of myself because I feel like we do need to address the mini elephant in the room here right now.
Sure, yeah, yeah. The
And by mini elephant in the room, I mean the two mini elephants in our separate rooms
yeah,
that we
we
are
each have
recording in.
what is an elephant's it's a pachyderm, right?
What?
I believe that's what an elephant is. It's that's the family of animal that it belongs to, the pachyderm
I
family.
have never heard that before. That I mean,
Really?
listen. I'll put it on the poll. Did you know the elephant was part? I mean, is it spell it like it sounds type of
Oh
situation there?
boy, Pachyderm.
And why?
Oh boy, no, it's Pachyderm. So
Oh, so there's a loose Y that just sneaks in the middle there, huh?
I was a bit off. Pachyderm meaning. Now go ahead and post it because I don't want to spoil it.
Sure, sure. And I'll probably just go ahead
Hey,
and
look at
post it
that.
like it's.
Look at that. I was right.
You
A very
were?
a very large mammal with thick skin, especially an elephant, rhinoceros, or hippo. Look at that.
Wow.
The old brain still got it.
You
Still
think the
ticking.
other
The
think
old
the other
brain
mem
no heart no brains don't tick, hearts tick.
Yeah. I mean, thanks for bringing that up.
Oh, some do. I mean,
Do you think the other members of the pachyderm family are upset that the elephant got that elusive cliche of being the one in the room? You think the rhinos were sitting there with like,
yeah.
big toes crossed, saying, "Boy, I sure hope whoever's coming up with this picks the rhino in the room."
Wait, so do you think that they alerted the entire pachyderm family
Yeah,
that they were
yeah.
that they were planning on coming up with a cliche, so it was basically like an awards show. So the elephant, the rhino, and the hippo were all just sitting there watching TV, waiting for the announcement to be made of who the winning pachyderm is.
Yeah, no question. And I feel like it was a
Makes sense.
rivalry.
Total
Like as
sense. Yeah.
much it's almost like when you hear all the award winners. And every time I hear this on any award show, Steve, I always think the same thing of when, oh, it's just first and foremost, it was an honor to be nominated with all these
No,
other
no, it's not.
talented people.
No, no.
These other talented people are like, yeah, F you, man. I'm sitting here in the crowd listening to you.
Right.
Well, in this case, that rhinoceros is the one saying F you to the elephant. Because
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
say it out loud, boy, let's talk about the rhino in the room. Sounds a lot better to me
Yeah.
because I mean, you got the alliteration going on.
Hmm.
I just, I feel like we should go back to the drawing board when it comes to the pachyderm cliches. Are there any other pachyderm cliches? Like, have you ever?
Uh, rhinos have there's the phrase like like rhino skin, right? Like thick skin, like a
Right.
rhino.
That's a good point.
Okay,
So I mean,
so we got the elephant covered. We got the rhino covered.
yeah.
What about the hippo?
Oh boy. I mean, hungry like a hippo. Hungry hippos.
There we go. They're all covered.
Yeah, but
Covered.
but
All the
but if you were to
pachyderms are covered.
rank the three,
Oh, it's the elephant in the room
the
one.
elephant in the room. So the
The
elephant, yeah.
and then what was the second one? A rhino skin. Actually, no. I think hungry hippo is going to be second. Rhino skin
Yeah,
third.
because there's no real direct saying about rhino skin other than saying like,
Isn't
you
there?
know,
I feel like that needs to be on the poll. Isn't
well,
there a
no,
saying? Isn't there a
because
saying
there
about?
is like that is an expression, but I feel like there's, you don't see something.
Oh, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Uh, 12 rhino quotes and famous sayings about rhinoceros,
Okay.
which
Is
apparently
it rhinofanpage.com or
it's trivist.world/foa
sure.
/biodiversity/rhinoceros /rhinoceros dash quotes, of course.
Well, okay,
Um,
so they just didn't want to pay for the domain space then for the shorter
yep.
version.
Okay. Now this is rhino quote number 12 of the top 12 rhino quotes.
Oh man.
People can have rhinoceros skin, but there's a point when something's going to hurt you. Now, I could give you 50 billion guesses as to who said that, and you would never get it.
That's the 12th most famous. Yeah, boy, I put it on the poll, but it's a fair question. Did the rhinos get the short end of the stick? Because they did. Boy,
Go ahead, take a guess.
I won't need more than one. Gandhi.
Uh, nope, Janet Jackson, of course. All right,
Oh,
moving on to
that
number
is her most
11.
that is her most famous quote now that I think about it.
Moving on to number 11. Okay, this is kind of a wordy quote. Doesn't really roll off the tongue, but the only way to save a rhinoceros is to save the environment in which it lives, because there's
Okay.
a mutual dependency
Yeah,
between it and
this
millions of
is
other species of
way
both
too
animals
long.
and plants.
I'm bored already. Oh, you're done?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
So can we do a favor for the
So
sake of this
so
podcast
surely
and the discussion?
you know who said that, right?
Yeah,
First of
that
all, we
was uh what's the guy on the animal man on the TV? He always wears a, he's on the late night shows. He'd always bring a monkey and be like, hoo hoo ha ha.
the animal man on the are you talking about Steve Irwin?
No, Steve. God, rest in peace.
Oh no, I mean
Jack Hanna.
Jack Hanna. No, it is not Jack Hanna.
It's not
But
Jack Hanna.
you're uh
Hang on.
no, I was
I
gonna
have
say you're
my
in the
second
ballpark,
guess,
but you're
and
not.
this is
Okay.
gonna be it.
Okay.
Gandhi.
Now if you had said Janet Jackson,
Yeah,
that's gonna be David Attenborough
there's really no path. Oh, David Attenborough, that's the like the voice of
of
like all the
yeah,
BBC
exactly.
Frozen Earth. Okay. So it's not even his quote. It's literally a writer's quote that he read from a script.
Yeah.
So
Quote number 10.
can you do us all a favor? Because we haven't gotten into anything yet, and we are on an absurdly tight schedule.
This 15 minutes from now, we will be done.
Can
That's
you
how short of a timeline.
can you simply cut to the metal stand of the rhinoceros quotes in
Oh boy.
history
You want me to skip number 10?
based on 12 and 11? I'm
No,
willing to skip to number 1 at
I
this rate.
need to read number 10.
Okay, so
Both
12,
because
11, 10, 3, 2, 1.
yeah, I'll give you that. All right.
Okay.
Quote number 10. This one
Yeah.
you're going to recognize immediately.
Sure.
My parents were very permissive when it came to animals.
Yeah.
As long as we earned the money to buy them and built whatever structure it was they were going to live in, we could have any kind of pet we wanted. They would have let us have a rhinoceros if we could have afforded it. Huh? I know. Okay. I think the Zoom meeting just froze for a minute, but I know that you actually said Maggie Steepviter, right?
I'm beginning to even further dig in my heels here that we should have definitely cut to the metal stand. But I do appreciate Maggie apparently
Steepviter.
being allowed to have a rhino in their house as a kid.
Yeah, if they had had the money, she would have had one.
I mean, I'm not even going to put that on the poll because it's not fair to poor Maggie if she's just scrolling through Twitter, vanity searching her name one day, and she reads a poll. Do you know who the hell Maggie Steakfighter is? And her name's spelled wrong, because that's not fair to her. She didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, granted. So we need to come up with somehow a more innocuous topic than rhinoceros is. Rhinoceri?
Yeah. Sure.
Rhinos?
How
Rhinos.
about rhinos? Yeah.
And so we can then get like a quote from us on the top 12 whatever quotes about blank.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, if we Google the top 12 quotes about fiberboard, like numbers 8 through 12 are Steve and Kyle. Like, and we're just doing our damnedest to crack those top 3.
Do you want the metal stand now?
I mean, listen.
Or should we skip this?
I'll let you be the judge.
Has the pachyderm content run its course already?
I will let you be the judge and jury and give yourself a little sneak peek, Steve, at 3 and at just number 3. And you decide right now, is number 3 itself worthy of the remarkably limited time we have today?
No, but 2 is pretty good.
Okay, so you want to skip bronze because nobody likes him anyway?
Exactly.
Skip bronze.
You're just to quote No Fear, third place is just the second loser.
That's right. That's what everybody says. The big dog leads the pack.
If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. So, all right. So we're skipping right to the silver medal.
This is exciting. Now, I gotta say, I have high hopes because
this is the second greatest quote ever.
Oh, God, 12, 11, and 10 sucked so bad.
About a rhinoceros. You ready for it?
Yeah, and just a quick interjection. This is on the poll. Is 12 quotes too many about rhinoceroses?
All right, here we go. Yeah, do I have your full attention?
Steve, I couldn't be more invested in anything in my life.
Rhinos are just fat unicorns. Huh? Did I undersell it or oversell it?
No, I think I'm glad you. I don't know what number 3 is. I'm glad you skipped it.
Oh, it's just some stupid dissertation about like they're a smart animal and need to help them.
Probably some idiot like Gandhi, espousing on the virtues of the rhino.
No, it was Janet Jackson. She managed to crack the top 3. How about put that on the poll? Did you know that Janet Jackson was such a rhino enthusiast?
Did you? Well, how does that come up in a conversation if you even have an interview with Janet Jackson?
Yeah.
I have 1 trillion questions before I would ever expect the word rhinoceros out of Janet Jackson's mouth.
What? Let's see. Does it give any background as to why? No. Okay. Wait a minute. It does.
Boy, this is how you.
No, it basically shows her quote
to number 1.
It shows her quote, and then it gives a short bio of who she is. Like we know who Janet Jackson is. I want to know why she was talking about rhinos.
Yeah. Like, is this some weird thing that Janet Jacksonites all talk about? Like they're all super rhino fans?
I guess so.
Ugh. Well, Steve, you've made us wait long enough. The gold medalist.
Do you want number
rhinoceros? 1? Or you know what? Do we tease it? Make people wait for the end of the episode?
Oh yeah, good idea. Well, good news. We're at the end of the episode.
All right, click. But back to the
but we digress.
Yeah. Back to the main, the elephant in the room, the rhino on the rocket, if you will, the hippo on the hood of the situation,
the fat unicorn in the muck. I don't know.
And again, before I dig in here, stay tuned. Coming up later this episode, the number 1 quote regarding rhinoceroses, and if that is not the biggest reason to tune in, you've never listened to this podcast before.
By the way, it is Sunday, March 21st, 2021, the year of our Lord. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast, and now it's time to discuss the pachyderm at the party. Kyle,
I just have Like, I just want nothing. I want all of our segments for the end until the end of time to be pachyderm alliteration.
No problem. I got a million of them.
Yeah, coming up next week on the Hippo on the Hood, Steve breaks down the Jeep Comanche build.
See, I was gonna say hippo on the hill, or a hippo on
Oh,
the
yeah.
hippo on the hill. I like that.
Oh man.
I think
But yeah, as you can probably tell, we're in separate houses right now.
yeah,
And
we both got COVID. You believe that?
it's hey, listen, when you're out there licking doorknobs of party stores, it's one of us was bound to get it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
it was a good contest, Steve, while it lasted. But no, it was. Listen, this is a weird week.
It
I
was, yeah.
took a tiny little 2-day trip with my wife away and then get back, and there's all this stuff going on. So in lieu of literally nothing being released, which this is probably outside of my heart surgery where we did like, hey, we're not going to be able to record.
Mhm.
This was the closest we've ever been to pulling the plug.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It was a text was sent that just kind of said, F it, we'll just do one next week. But alas, here we are.
Weird doing it. I feel so weird skipping and knowing that Tuesday there won't be anything out for those tens of people who are waiting with bated breath.
Basically what it boils down to is like, I don't know, what was it, 3 weeks ago probably, you said that you guys were going to be away for a couple days.
Yeah.
And we did what we always do. We said, yeah, we'll figure something out. We'll
Right.
figure out what the plan is. And then we never really figured it out. And got kind of late in the day. And it was, I mean, as you know, you got dinner, and then you got bath time, and then you got story time, and then you got bedtime, and it all kind of crams together. But
there's the routine, and you need to keep at least somewhat on that track to make your life normal.
We are absolute slaves to the routine here.
Right. So my first experience with our new expensive audio mixer is by hearing you talk, Steve, to me down a Zoom video chat.
Yeah, don't worry. It's right here. It's not being used at all. Because I had no time last week. My goal is to mess around with it, hook it up, and see if I can get it working. And I did briefly. I made one phone call.
Yes.
Through the mixer and got you on, and it sounded great and everything. So we're really looking forward to being able to use it. But this is not one of those times that we're using.
Right. We'll be hopefully back together next week. Should be no problem, Andy, using our new audio equipment.
Oh boy.
So we'll plan on starting to record at a certain time, and then about 90 minutes after that, probably actually start recording.
Yeah.
Nothing will go correct, and it'll end up being a mixer. We'll just use the old mixer. That's
I think we should do. I think that we should do the what our plan was last week is when we're testing it out. Maybe in the middle of the week or something. You stop by for a half hour. We'll each sit down. We'll turn on do like Facebook Live or something, stream it out, and then kind of get it all dialed in while we're doing it live.
Sure. So that's the goal next week, and I have a bunch of stuff I want to mention. Then I have a question for you, Steve.
Sure.
That I'll leave to you if you want to get into this week, or if we want to start talking about it next week. And then, of course, as we teased earlier, stay tuned later this episode. The number one all-time quote regarding rhinoceroses.
It just sounds so ridiculous to say. By the way, are we even going to get to me being able to ask you why you are in this meeting as Italian Stallion?
Oh, why would you have any question regarding that?
Is today like a famous Rocky related holiday or something?
No. So we've been doing about once a month. We do Zoom game night with another couple who lives far away.
Okay.
And I usually always end up changing my name about 6 times throughout the middle of the game, typically to something crude, offensive, not very well thought out, but hey, it's got the word balls in it, because I'm 12.
Right.
And the last time we had played, I must have concluded with the Italian Stallion.
Sure.
But very, very important. Next week, we will have an updated round of 32
oh boy.
of Poll Badness. You can find that everywhere on all Steve and Kyle social media channels at Steve and Kyle. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah.
Please go there and vote. The voting's a little bit different this year because we used pictures, so we need you to comment.
Yeah, you got to
Comment
comment,
A, comment
comment your vote.
B, and we'll
Gotten a ton.
tally.
I had to turn off the
Yes,
notifications because
it's bananas.
my phone will not stop. Plus, we're getting a ton of spam, a
Yeah,
ton of spam comments, which I've been tediously marking as spam because
I
I
was
don't know. It's like hashtag podcast or something, or hashtag podcasting must like invite all of the people that are trying to make money off of us. Little do they know we have none. So that
how fortuitous would it be if somebody made money off of us before we made money on us? Because I feel like that's the most logical outcome of all this. Like somehow we find our likeness being used for an actually successful podcast in like Taiwan.
right, but it's
And
our old logo.
yeah. And so, hey, sorry, you guys don't use it. We just took it.
There's some Taiwanese man with with a bandana and a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Is that Kyle? Yeah, it's Kyle.
Early on though, Steve, a lot of upsets look like they're in play. We're going to allow voting through the end of this week. We'll have a new,
Okay.
We'll have first round that'll be completed by the end of this week. I'm not going to give you a cutoff date. We'll count the votes later this week. So when on next week's episode, we will have the round of 32 ready. I don't know if we're going to go through all 32, like 16 matchups.
Yeah, probably not. That's a lot.
But once we start getting down to the nitty gritty, we will. Plus, it's easier. Just go to our social media. You can see all of them. Boy, is that a fun trip down memory lane to read those polls and realize what the heck were we talking about.
Oh, most of them I have no idea because I put all of those matchup like all the pictures together.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at them like I remember this. I vaguely remember this, but I have no clue what most of them meant.
My dark horse candidate, the long shot, Steve, the Cinderella of Poll Badness for me so far is Mars Space Couch. Like, I still don't know where that came from. I don't care. I know there's people listening right now, probably typing away with their snooty nose in the air. Well, I'll remind him. Click, click, tap, tap. I don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, that's part of the joy of this is that I don't have any clue why we referred to a planet as a couch in space. That's why it's there on the poll. So please keep voting again at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We'll start, and I know it was a bit of a bomb. We didn't really plan it out that well. We ran short on time, then I was gone, so we ended up kind of bombing the social media channels. So next year and going forward, we'll either cut it down to 32 teams or figure out a little better way to do it.
Yeah, we'll have to see it was complicated, but I think that that was probably the best possible way that we could do it with the limited resources that we have.
Sure. But I needed to ask you something, Steve. And again, you tell me if this is better to wait until next week when we have more time.
Okay.
Because my question to you is in regards to a text message you sent me yesterday morning.
Oh yeah.
And it's a call back to this very program because it was discussed extensively 2 years ago now, right? 2 years ago when you were
3
years ago.
3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago at this time.
So all I will say is this. I get a text from you with the words, remember the Jeep parts deal of the century. I'm sorry, I didn't read that with the right emphasis. Let me start over.
Yeah, come on, give it a little gusto.
Remember the Jeep parts deal of the century a few years ago? And of course, I read that and I immediately am
you rubbing your hands together.
I'm beckoned back to that time where Steve was hassling an old man in Missouri for a seatbelt that he was clearly never going to send you.
He eventually sent it, but I think it took him. Honestly, I think it took him 6 weeks.
It was comical,
and it was the driver's side seatbelt. So that was the one thing that was keeping me from actually driving that vehicle and getting it. Yeah, because I had to get like a safety inspection on it too, and I couldn't get the inspection because it was missing that seatbelt.
One of my favorite ongoing sagas that happened because you could almost see the light so slowly drain from your life over the course of those weeks where you realize the parts and the garbage you got, missing the one thing you really needed, was not in fact the deal of the century. So you
I,
texted me that, and I
no,
said, "How?"
I still think it was. I still think it was a pretty good deal.
I said, "How could I forget?" And you replied with, "May have topped it." So you're in
Yeah.
the business for Comanche parts,
Yeah.
and you found something. I have no details. I didn't follow up. This is all genuine. You
No.
tell me
Then
that
well, you forgot to include the part where I neglected to remember how many years were in a century.
that's right. That's right. This would in fact be decade, but yeah, we decided that
Well,
in
in
terms
my
of
defense,
rolling centuries, you would be accurate. I mean, from 1918 to 2018, you got the
that's a
deal
century.
of that century,
Right.
and so now you're on 2018 to 2118.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was referring to, of course.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
rolling
That's
set. Everybody uses that type of calendar
right.
where centuries start and stop when you deem them fit.
Look, time's a flat circle. All right. Anything is anything.
So you tell me, Steve, because I have loads of questions about this stuff. Not one of them actually related to the Jeep or actual parts about what they do.
Mhm.
Is that better to wait and we talk about it next week, or do you want to dive into it right now?
We should probably hold off.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
It's
late
not
on
gonna
a
be
Sunday night,
a
folks.
huge thing, but yeah, we're kind of pressed for time. So
Okay. So next week I have I have so many questions already.
okay, write them all down.
Um,
I want you to write them down, and
because
then we'll do a rapid fire interview session
you
next week.
I feel like you're stepping into the same bear trap you stepped into 3 years ago. And no, granted, I shouldn't
Eh,
say bear trap because it's again not that I'm assuming not that much money, and
no,
the presumption is you're getting more out of it than you need.
look,
Which
it might be the value of a comic book. We'll say
okay,
that.
okay, all right. I can't wait. I can't wait. I have so many questions for you about this. And they're all good. God, I can't believe you're still doing it. I can't believe. No, this is still related to the Comanche, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
That is my life's focus at this point.
Yeah. I mean, outside of your your wife and your daughter and your work and
Eh,
family and friends and
eh,
hobby.
yeah.
But that Jeep Comanche, we talked about it last week when I walked in. You were kind of outside milling about, and I think it's worth a little nugget in the back of your brain, Steve, to consider that year down the road, 2 years down the road, you deem the Jeep Comanche 100% done, and you take it out fully finished for the first time,
Mhm.
and you get 2 miles away from your house, and you're
Hit
like,
hit a patch of black ice.
yeah, yeah. And you're a couple miles away and you realize, hey, it's not quite as good as I remember it.
Boy, 1988 wasn't that great for for
So
automobiles.
so I feel like mid-20s Steve probably never says a word and is like, no, this was still the greatest thing I've ever done, and
Hmm.
I'm never getting rid of this. And then 2, 3 years down the road, you're like, well, for the sake of the family, maybe I'll get rid of
Right.
it because we don't
Yeah.
have the room. But I feel like as we are about to touch 40-year-old Steve here, I feel like 40-year-old Steve is going to be like, I can't believe I wasted 2 years of my life,
Do you
and
think 40-year-old Steve cuts his losses?
and then and this thing sucks, and I'm going to get it out of my garage in my life forever.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
I mean, there wouldn't be a more deflating conclusion than you taking it out for a drive and like hating it
I know, right?
after all this, like building like a second, the second chance Jeep's brand, and then you realize like your second chance Jeep you hate and you
Right.
can't wait to get rid of.
Right. I want another chance. Because this one's no
you
good.
you delete all your social media and start third chance Jeeps, and then like the byline is when second chances go wrong.
All right. Well,
Unbelievable.
I better trademark that now.
um, do you have? I don't know what you have handy there for audio, Steve, but we have another one of our giveaways. It's been a few months, but
Oh,
I have a giveaway. So I don't know if you have, it's time. This is what what it means. It means the money's rolling in, baby.
Yeah, and that's going to have to be added in post, where it'll
okay.
be added right here.
Oh, cash register
Yeah,
sound. Heck
yeah,
yeah, man.
because we don't have the ability to do that live.
It's time to make that money.
All right.
Now we're still waiting. Maybe they send out, semi-annual checks instead of, weekly or monthly or ever. But I'm assuming the money's on the way. But no, this is another opportunity. We're going to start taking these as they come, no matter what. So now today on digital and on demand, Joel McHale
I know him.
and Carrie Bechet lead an all-star cast in the dark romantic comedy Happily. The film centers around a couple who, after 14 years of marriage, discover their friends are resentful of their constant PDA. That's a good point. Don't do it.
Yeah,
Nobody
nobody likes
likes it.
that. Not at all.
When a visit from a mysterious stranger leads to a dead body, they begin to question the loyalty of their so-called friends.
Is it a ghost? Mysterious stranger. I
By
feel
a,
like I feel like it's probably a ghost.
if it ends up being a ghost, how many people are going to be mad at you?
I totally just spoiled the
You
whole
ruined
thing.
the movie. Buy or rent happily.
Yeah, it's the ghost of his dad. Just so you know.
Yeah, we're teasing the Sixth Sense. Can you imagine if that kid saw a ghost the whole time? God. Buy or rent happily today on digital and on demand. It's rated R from Paramount Pictures. As always, go to our social media. Now that all of the Poll Badness polls are up for round one, there's going to be a little gap before I'll post these. Just need you to retweet it or like it on Twitter. Same on Facebook, Instagram. Get you an entry for a digital copy of Happily, starring Joel McHale and Carrie Bechet. We'll give those away here in the next week or so. And again, I know we joke about it. We don't make any money from this. The one thing we got was the gift pack from the King of Staten Island. No money has changed his hands. We're doing this because honestly, I like being able to give stuff away to people who listen to this podcast and engage with us on social media. So
Yeah, it's great. I love giving stuff away. All right, so just about time to wrap things up because, like you said, short episode. So I don't want to blue ball everybody here, so I gotta.
I'd almost forgotten, Steve. I'd almost forgotten. I thought the music was going to be like almost out.
No.
Okay. All right. Hang on. Let me brace
Music's
myself.
going to start.
So to recap, we've had a quote from Maggie something, some Janet Jackson. I'm pretty sure one or two by Gandhi. And now the number one ever rhinoceros related quote.
Are you ready?
I think I am.
I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. Okay. I'm going to tell you who the quote is from. Maybe, wet your whistle a bit first.
Okay.
This quote by Yaya Toure.
I had my hopes for like Ace Ventura.
The number one quote about rhinos by Ace Ventura, and it's "Let me ask you a question."
Yeah, and then like arm fart noise.
Yeah, where he's like talking with his butt.
And Janet Jackson's resented him forever because she can't get higher on the list.
Yeah, she can't crack the top 10. and like 1 through 7 are Ace Ventura.
And they all end with arm fart noise.
All right. So the number one quote about rhinos. It just sounds so stupid to say, by the infamous Yaya Toure. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who that is, so I'm assuming it's going to be a real winner.
The illegal wildlife trade threatens not only the survival of the entire species, such as elephants and rhinos, but also the livelihoods and often the very lives of millions of people across Africa who depend on tourism for a living.
A lot of times they say less is better.
That's Yaya Toure, the Ivorian professional footballer. That's soccer.
Maybe we should have ended at the silver medal there. I mean, I don't even remember the context or the quote. Well, that was second, but I remember enjoying it a hell of a lot more than I just enjoyed that.
Oh, that was from Ashley Purdy when she said rhinos are just fat unicorns.
That's right. That's right. I mean, how is that not number one?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Ashley got robbed. Stay tuned. Coming weeks, we'll get you the top 10 to 12 quotes related to elephants and hippos. That's coming up in the next in coming episodes.
All right, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Steve and Kyle. If you want to vote on what round this is, like
So this is around a 64. This is the first round. We don't really have a name for
that
it.
doesn't even have a name, right? Like
No, yeah,
because
it's just the
this-
first round.
Okay, yeah. So you can vote through the end of this week.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this relatively close to when it came out, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Steve and Kyle. Again, you're not voting on the content of the individual polls. You're voting on the polls partnered up with the poll
Right.
below it. So
The entirety of the poll compared to the one below it.
yeah, so simply comment A or B. I noticed that there were a couple of ones. I saw a C in there.
The ones aren't being counted. And
Ones
I
are not
say that
being-
as
no, no.
someone who lived through the hanging Chad of 2000. We're not
Yeah.
counting ones.
No, they do not get
Okay.
counted.
And you know what you get if you put C? You get blocked. Okay, this is serious business.
I saw somebody commented too many in all caps, and I just said, "Shut up."
We're what was our selection room? We had a name for it. The committee. I
Oh, the
forget.
decision den.
The decision. We take this seriously, and we
Very
expect you. And we
very.
expect you to do the same, people.
Yeah.
So please please vote. Again, everywhere you can find us at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can vote on all three avenues through the end of the week until we start narrowing it down here.
All right, apologies for the short episode, but that is life. Talk to you next week.
See you next time.